quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of Tabletop Gold. You're listening to our series, The Roots of Ruin, our playthrough of the Abomination Vaults adventure path. My name is Lars Casteen. I'm the host of the show. Sometimes people used to say, the host with the most. I would never be so presumptuous as to make a claim like that, but I am here. You know who else is here? The cast with the most. Robin Lange is here.
I think in honor of his birthday, I'm going to be Robin Humphreys this week.
Oh.
Yep.
Same.
So glad to have you as part of the clan, you guys.
Why, thank you. So Robin, Matt Humphreys.
Yes.
So there's two are Matts, to be even more confusing.
We've got Armat, the birthday boy himself, Humphreys here.
Thanks, guys. Hello. And I would like to say I will make the claim that Lars is the host with the most. All other hosts, come at me.
You're going to get accosted by hosts. Arsenio Hall's going to come up to you on the street.
Whack you in the knees.
Just Jeff Galooly you. Zoe Chernicoff is here.
Sorry, also our Matt Humphreys for today.
Yeah.
That's Rowie Matt Humphreys today.
Okay. Not confusing. David Chernicoff is here.
I'm trying to decide who's the funniest host to accost Lars. And
Drew
I
Barrymore.
might be Pat Sajak.
Oh, yeah.
That's a pretty
Just
good
because
one,
Pat Sajak would never, the guy is the most convivial. So the idea
I was going with Johnny Carson on like a similar.
The other one that came to
Johnny
mind
Carson's a beast. Come on.
was the original Family Feud host. That guy, Richard, whatever his name was, who was just super drunk all the time.
Was he the guy that made out with everybody on that show?
Yeah. Just a lot of very soft kisses right on the very corner of the mouth for the younger female guests. It was a different, and by different I mean worse time.
I'll just say, if that's what the most is, I'm happy to not have it.
Listen, Lars, I don't know of any hosts that have more than you.
Oh, please. Talent? Somebody's got that, right? Probably.
Mm-mm.
Well, we're cutting that.
Aw, no. Armet, it was your birthday yesterday.
And then the awkward silence after is also staying.
I'm gonna open that awkward silence up. We're gonna be living in that for about 35 minutes.
Can you add in the sound of crickets? Because that would be really lovely.
Lars, can you score that silence after that?
Very slowly.
Yeah, I don't think the drunk Family Feud guy could do that.
Yeah.
Armet, it was your birthday yesterday.
Terrifyingly enough, it was. I've made it to another rotation of the Earth.
What did you do on your birthday?
I did pretty little, actually. I hung out with my folks. My dad was really nice. He cooked pizzas for us for dinner, and
Ooh, fresh pizza?
Yeah.
Homemade pizza.
which was
Ooh.
delicious.
What's your pizza topping? If you're making a pizza, what do you get on there?
Well, we did two combos. So we did pepperoni, green peppers, onions. What else was on there?
Wow.
There was one other.
I want it to just be something insane, and you're like, and cat food, or just like
And- yeah.
really fierce.
And tapioca pearls.
Yeah.
dried pearls, right?
It's a mouthfeel right there.
Some pizza. What's your birthday sweet of choice? Did you treat yourself to something sweet?
I did, in fact. My mother made a strawberry rhubarb crisp as for my request, and it was fantastic. So I I was going to have a writing session with my writing friend. We hop on Zoom and, sit and chat, and then we sit down and type together. Accountability buddy is another phrase for
accountability buddy. That's tricky to say.
I gotta start doing that. That sounds awesome.
It's great. Honestly, it's super fun. It's a great way to catch up with your friends and, be a little productive as well, which is...
So you're not working on one project together. You're just sort of opening up a channel between the two of you as you're independently working on stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fascinating. Has anybody else done anything like that?
Well, it's like going to the cafe with someone to work, but
no, I understand the metaphor. It's just like I'm so impressed by the choice to make that happen. I think that's so cool.
The closest I've done to doing that is actually with your wife, Lars, painting nights that we used to do like in deep lockdown when we would get onto Zoom and just
for like
work
a fun
on a craft.
activity. Sure.
Like just work on some sort of craft but just be present with someone else while we did it.
I can get on board with that as like we'll find a creative outlet, especially in the dark pandemic days where it was like, well, and also you chat. I am so deeply ingrained as a non-group worker that the idea of sitting on a Zoom and like performing writing with someone else, like I'm like anxious just thinking of that. Like I would get so much less done, which I acknowledge is not that shouldn't be the main response. Like I totally get the attraction of this, and like personally speaking, the idea of being like, shall we sit together for 2 hours and write near each other just makes me like there were too many middle school group projects gone wrong for that to work for me.
Understood. So is that a no on mutual masturbation?
Whoa.
Joking. Joking. That's a cut. Zoe, I would have, because you were meeting once a week with, I got her, ladies and gentlemen. Zoe, you were meeting once a week with a friend, like a mutual friend of ours, in sort of like the darkest like slog of the pandemic. But I guess you two were not actually writing on those calls.
No, we like had written and then would like share stuff and talk, like sharing or editing. Like, I don't know, that to me feels better to do in person rather than like track changing in someone's, Word document about a children's book and being like, I just thought the verbiage was wrong here, but not speaking to them about it is like a pretty dick move.
Right.
But the actual writing, I don't know, it's just not where, it's not where I go, but I get it.
Zoe, would this change your perspective on it? Most of the time we do turn off the camera and the sound and we just hang out on the
the weight off of my shoulders is yes, that's better.
Oh good.
But I could see sitting, I mean, like to Robin's point, people like I was never a person in college who could like go sit in the library with friends and like study productively. Like it's just not how my
I love doing that. When I was in New York, I used to love going out and having writing parties with friends at coffee shops. So
this is a continuation of a way that you've worked in the past.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just different.
I was struck, Matt, birthday with parents is awesome. I would totally sign up for spending a birthday with my parent. Like there's like a real familiarity to that. If you have a good relationship with your parents, I do. Sounds like a pretty good one.
Honestly, it's been really lovely. I had a great time. Like I'm lucky enough to have a good relationship with my folks. It hasn't always been so, like most relationships, but
who among us at 17 was really in peak parental relationship mode?
I would like to not comment on that prompt, please.
I plead the fifth on that question.
Can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, exactly.
I plead the 17th.
But yeah, it's been really lovely. And, over the pandemic, we've gotten to spend more time together. And so it's been really quite lovely. Because in a funny way, a birthday isn't just about like you, the person who is celebrating it. It's also about like your parents in a lot of ways. Because like
the lady what
you.
Totally true.
Exactly.
What a good point.
It's a nice way of thinking about it.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's like in a funny way more for my mom than me. Because like, shit, I just can manage to not die this past year, which admittedly in this past year is like a greater achievement.
Yeah, no, that's
harder and harder all the time.
Than some, yeah.
So true, y'all.
But like, it's sort of a celebration of my mom putting in tons, and my dad as well, putting in tons of time and love and care in the thought in raising me. So thanks, guys. I love you. They'll never listen to this, but they're the best. And
Someday they might, you know?
Highly doubtful.
No, mine won't either.
I'm so pleased with this intro, this episode, because I feel like it is both the most family-friendly intro we have done, with Armat talking about like his relationship with the role that parents play in our lives, and then the least family-friendly intro we've done with that mutual masturbation.
You gotta cut that.
Why? Do I really have to? I don't want to.
Well, maybe.
Now that he's done a callback, he's
Maybe.
made it impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you just like knotted it back into the fabric
Yep.
of what we're
Yeah.
doing.
I actually think you should
right.
leave in the thing where you refer to it, but you don't have the original joke in. I think that's the answer.
That's good.
Now
Then
who
the
knows who
listener
said
has
it?
to go back and be like, did I fucking miss something? What the?
Right? Not listening.
What is
carefully?
going
What was I
on?
doing
What
5
on
minutes
earth?
ago?
Did they just incept mutual masturbation into my brain?
Well, let's move on. I want to, before we get to the game, I would like to take a moment to thank everybody who has left a review
Thank you.
of Tabletop Gold at their podcast app of choice, like this review that was left by Clougo on iTunes, calling us the gnarliest show in the tubes.
Woo!
Which,
Whoa.
and then the
Thank
review
you.
says, if Tony Hawk asked this podcast to do a kickflip, semicolon, it would, which I'm going to take purely as a compliment. I think
Radical.
it's absolutely true. And I'll say right now, I don't want to speak for the rest of the podcast. If Tony Hawk told me to do just about anything, I would at least give it a shot. I'm not sure that I would successfully pull off a kickflip, but I would try.
I would say if Tony Hawk told me to do something, I would say how high, even if that did not parse in context.
Tony Hawk is like, hey, can you pass me some water?
How high, Tony Hawk?
He's supposed to be a lovely human, isn't he?
Yeah.
I believe so. There's a documentary about him that I have heard only positive things about that I'm very excited to watch.
Ooh, I will have to watch that.
More Tony Hawk in my life. Okay. Let's go after this wolf.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, let's play our game. As you've explored the 4th level of the ruined fortress below Gauntlight, you've uncovered a number of surprises. The latest is that you've located a man whom you suspect may be Jal Mesmin, one of Otari's most notorious criminals. Here's some background. On the night of a full moon some 30 years ago, the werewolf Jal Mesmin murdered a half-dozen locals before being driven over a cliff and into the ocean by the town guard. Starting then, many townsfolk blamed the druids, among whom Mesmin had been hiding, for the violence, believing, incorrectly, that the mystics of Stone Ring Pond had knowingly harbored a werewolf and helped him plan his rampage. Over the ensuing years, the druids have managed to patch up their standing with most of the townsfolk, and today almost everyone believes Mesmin to be gone and the druids to be innocent of any wrongdoing. There are 2 prominent exemptions to this belief, though. First, there's Whirlywin, the current leader of the druids at Stone Ring Pond, who believes that Mesmin survived that fateful night and is still living somewhere on the outskirts of Otari. And second is Otari Market's proprietor, Keelino Lathanar, whose wife, Isla, was among the werewolf's victims those 30 years ago. Keelino still believes the druids are protecting Jal Mesmin to this day. So, even though you have not yet located a ribbon of blue light on this floor like you have on the rest, the man and wolf in front of you represent an opportunity to help 2 opposed parties back in town at once. But first, you'll have to contend with Mesmin and his wolf's combined attack as they defend their territory in this underground cavern. There's a lot of stuff to recap there, guys.
It was beautifully
Yeah.
done.
It really
Okay.
was.
Thank you.
So I feel like we're definitely gonna do some fighting once once he realizes what's going on and he gets our attention, because he doesn't seem like the happiest of guys. But we need to get some information out of him.
Yeah. So I
how
was
are we
kind of
gonna do
wondering.
that?
Yeah, what is it that you guys want from Mesmin? Like, what do you guys think the plan is for the party? Like, are you trying to get him to
Cash,
surrender?
right?
Do you want to kill him? Do you want to bring him in? Zoe, I will say that there is certainly a bounty on
That's
his
true.
head.
We
that,
do
that
get
if you were to
cash.
bring him
I
in,
was
you would
making a
get
joke
cash.
that we just want to mug him, but you are absolutely right that there is a value to returning him.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to say structurally on this floor, Mag has not had to carry a body out of the dungeon yet.
So
Oh.
true.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. We have a tradition to uphold.
On the other hand, has AO flung anyone's corpse at
Um,
themselves or others?
I
Oh.
Or at
two
their pet.
things. One, first
Robin.
point, we need somehow to prove that he was not that the druids were not harboring him. So we like the druid from our conversation with Whirlywin. We want to support the druids, I think, from our interactions with them. And two, I'm going to be real mad if someone throws that poor wolf corpse. If we kill the wolf and it gets thrown. That's on a personal Robin level.
That's okay.
just saying where my line is today, guys. That's my X on the table that I'm touching right now.
So, Robin, X on the table. No throwing the wolf's body.
Yes.
Okay. I think we all hear where you're coming from.
I will say I don't think we've seen AO throw any bodies, and this is in some ways a kindred spirit. So
Yeah.
It's funny, like, my gut was like, don't kill this like, one, because it's a character, because it's like, has some, like, heft in the
He's
story.
got a
like,
name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got a name. Yeah, so I mean, certainly not like just go in and lay waste to this character. I don't think.
Yeah.
But I'm curious where everybody else is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
agree.
I don't think AO's I think AO's in this to get out safe, but ideally keep them alive.
Yeah.
Maybe for her own reasons, but
Yeah,
It's just that
likewise.
yeah.
Vadim, I think, would
is
be...
Vadim leaning towards justice rather than just like legal justice or justice of Pharasma?
Well, I think for Asmon justice, I mean, a devil is a totally different creature than a werewolf. You know what I mean? Like, there's a human being.
Tell me more.
Well, they're
Well,
both weak to. So, okay.
And one has horns, you see. The other has
Fur?
fur. It's very different. Although I might be
Interesting.
wrong about some devils having fur there, honestly.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, no, I think Vadim would totally be on board with going non-lethal towards the end.
Yeah, Vadim is a super interesting question for me because Vadim is, like, his character class is that he is a redeemer. Like,
Yeah.
do you think that, like, Vadim has any ideas about how to respond to this person, based on that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think, like pretty much everyone's been saying, I think he'd want to see... One, we'd need to know that this is Jal Mesmin, which I think we all strongly suspect, but we don't actually know for sure. For fur. Oh, God, it's in my brain now. Anyway, there's so much narratively that's unclear on what occurred that night. There's clearly a werewolf was in the village and caused chaos and killed and probably injured a number of people, but we don't know if this is Jal Mesmin. We don't know if it was, in fact, Jal Mesmin who was the werewolf that was driven off the cliff, or if he was wrongfully accused.
Right.
There's a lot of
Right.
potential...
Could be the reasons the druids might have been helping. Like, the druids might have been helping Jal Mesmin, but not helping the killer of the like mass slaughterer from that night. If it was
Absolutely.
in fact someone or something else.
So
Yeah.
Vadim wants to find the truth is part of what Vadim wants here.
Mm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that all makes sense to me. Let me describe the situation as the four of you are entering into this encounter with this hostile man with pale, pasty white skin, filthy black hair, and furs matted with dirt, who is standing next to his enormous wolf. This natural cavern that you're in is filled with a lake, and above that lake is a pavilion that is on stone pylons, holding this pavilion up 10 feet above the surface of this still water. In the middle of this pavilion is a fire that this man and his wolf were sitting next to. They've been drawn to the far eastern edge of this pavilion by an illusion that Ao created a short distance away. Because of that, they're in a sort of awkward position on this platform, and they're going to take a penalty to their initiative rolls because they rolled very poorly. So, speaking of initiative, this man has just reached through the illusion, shattering the illusion, and is looking towards you and jumping towards you with a hostile action, which means it is time right now to please roll for initiative. Yeah. Roll for initiative.
Now, Lars.
Yeah.
So last episode, as we were getting towards the end, I commented that Trill was singing her spell, her shield spell. What's the chance that I could roll performance for initiative since she's singing it?
You know, I want to say no so badly to you because I think it's ludicrous. But on the other hand, I do think it's like believable that Trill is tapping in. One, you laid the groundwork, which great for you.
Yes.
Two, I think it makes sense that Trill is not necessarily trying to get the attention of people as she is singing this thing, but she is, if you're telling me that she is tapping into a sort of musicality, which is part of what flows through her veins and is like a huge part of who she is, I'll buy it. I'll let you roll performance for this initiative.
That's not the way I expected that to go, and I'll take it. Thank you, sir.
So, Trill rolling performance for initiative. Robin, what did you roll?
Well, thank God you let me roll performance because my die roll was crap. So with that performance added on, Trill ended up getting a 25. So that saved her butt.
Well, let's see if you're faster than everybody else. Armat, how did Vadim do?
Vadim did okay. He got a 12 on the die for a 22 initiative.
Also very quick.
Pretty quick off the mark. I think the prep work of seeing the wolf and the illusion has given him time to, get into his stance, get ready, and just spring off the mark.
Yeah, we've talked a bit sometimes how this group tends to do really well when they see something coming, when they can prepare. And so far, these initiative rolls are supporting that story. Zoe, how did Ao do?
Pretty well. She had a 20. I think she was ready, but maybe dealing with the illusory object wolf and trying to get it to last just long enough they could sneak up.
Sounds good. And David, how did Mag do?
Only a 15 for Mag, which I think reflects maybe Mag just trying to maintain the stealthy approach like a beat or a beat and a half too long. Was more concerned with, not making any noise or being detected, and so was a little slow off the mark to get into combat.
Sounds like it makes sense. I will let you know that I adjudicated this distraction, this illusion, as giving these two combatants that you're dealing with a -4 to their initiative. And the impact of that is that Mag is going to get to go before the wolf. That's essentially how that all washes out.
All right.
With that, let's get into round one. The four of you are all trailing across this narrow 5-foot wide walkway. If you look down to the left and right, you see this water waiting below, almost beckoning you to fall into it and have me explain the swimming rules and the suffocation rules to you.
Everyone's favorite.
Right. That thing that's very scary. Could potentially happen.
How deep is that water?
The water, when you were around on the other side of the lake, is 15 feet deep.
Okay. So Trill's gonna, just being Trill, right at the beginning, let's start with Inspire Courage. That's what she does. So I'm going to start with the lingering composition. And that's a 32.
That's a critical success. Your Inspire Courage is going to get to go 4 rounds. Great opening for Trill.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Trill.
Yes.
So Trill's going to move closer. So she's kind of on the other side, much closer to who we assume is Jal Mesman. And with her final action, she's going to recall knowledge about him.
Yeah, so in order to recognize this guy, that's going to be a society check, because you're essentially comparing what you're seeing in front of you to the stories that you have heard from the people around town in Otari.
Well, never mind.
But on the other hand, if you're interested in knowing more about not about this individual person, I think then we could talk about an Arcana or Nature check.
I want to know which saves are his. I actually want to know which saves are his strongest and weakest.
Sure. So Arcana or Nature could tell you something about that, but wouldn't tell you if this is. You wouldn't confirm the identity of this guy.
Okay. Neither of those are helpful either. I'm just going to try and demoralize him then. Using versatile performance.
Versatile performance, of course.
Yeah.
This is exciting. This is maybe the first time we've seen this.
Yeah, I think I have. So Trill gets to use performance to use to demoralize.
And are you trying to demoralize him or the wolf?
I think I'm going to demoralize him.
So Trill reaches down and starts playing terrifying music.
It is a 19.
And he sort of looks at you as this music washes over him, and he just shakes his head and says, "That's supposed to do something to me."
In my mind, it's mbop.
No.
Yeah, that 19
monster.
was
It's
not
an automatic fail on the Wilson.
the best. That was only a 5 on the die, so a better die roll I think would have done a lot better. If I got a 19 out of a 5 on the die, I feel like that could be a lot better later.
Oh, absolutely. Trill has the potential to terrify people with performance. Just the way that the song reverberated around this chamber seems to have not gotten the job
It was more
done.
annoying than terrifying.
Exactly.
Oh, God. Oh.
It's Vadim's turn. Vadim is standing behind Mag, craning around his large friend to see this man and this wolf. He is feeling drained from having the life force sucked out of him by the undead, but still he charges forward. What will he do?
He is going to just, right off the mark, sprint 25 feet south, leaping over the campfire as he does so, to stand right next to Mesman and launch into a double slice with Vigilance and the Dagger of Venom. Oh, and that is a critical failure on the roll for Vigilance.
A fumble card because you fumbled hard.
Very bad.
Very bad indeed. Am I gonna do it? Nah, I'll let it ride. But a 24 to hit with the Dagger of Venom.
So you swing wildly and miss with Vigilance and trigger a fumble card, which I'll tell you about in just a moment. But Trill's Inspiring Courage is the only reason that the dagger connects with your target.
Oh, wow.
Phew.
Nice.
So how much damage did you get?
9 damage.
Great. So
That was 9D, right? 9D?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
great.
right. So the dagger pokes forward through this mass of fur and coats that this guy is wearing. And somehow you tell me you cut yourself pretty badly with Vigilance. This is a fumble called This Is Bad. You
Ooh,
take
very
1d10 persistent bleed damage.
Oh,
Oh.
God. That is really bad.
This is bad.
So I think in my mind, what'll happen is Vadim hits a section as he's leaping and he comes down after jumping over the fire. His foot hits a section of slippery moss. And so he slides out The cut that was absolutely going to connect with Jal instead gets twisted by his body weight shifting, and he slashes his own thigh, opening it up, as we can see, quite badly.
Absolutely. Blood starts pouring out of Vadim's leg. At the end of your turn, I need you to please roll a check to see, a flat check to see if you stop bleeding.
Alrighty, let's check it out. 5? Is 5?
So the DC is 15. No. So Vadim takes 6 points of bleed damage and continues bleeding. As that happens, it is now Ao's turn. Ao has just seen the illusion that she created dissipate and is now getting the jump on these two combatants. What is she going to do?
So she is intensely curious about this guy, right? Like, there's sort of the stories they've heard, and she wants to know more. Like, friend, foe, what's his angle, all of that. But first, she wants to feel comfortable approaching him. So she sort of tries to howl off to the wolf a quick, like, halt your attack. We are friends. We just want to know your story. So that sounds something like, but as she's doing that, acknowledging these folks don't seem to have been very keen on conversing thus far, she had earlier drawn out her wand of True Strike, which she's more interested in subduing Jal. I think her perception is the wolf is doing his bidding. She could befriend the wolf. So she fires the wand of True Strike, and then she is going to TKP Jal, who is just within reach, to see if she can maybe just give him a little light bludgeoning. Like a friendly sort of, we want to chat.
Light bludgeoning.
A little light bludgeoning.
So because of True Strike, you roll this attack twice as magical energy guides your aim.
Either a 24 or a 31. Let's go with, I'm going to say the 31.
It's the 31.
Good call, babe.
That
Seems
definitely
reasonable.
hits. Yes.
So she has her sneak attack damage, so she gets an extra d6, right?
2d6 now that you're level 5.
That's right. That is a total of 22 points of damage.
That is a sizable hit against this man as he goes, "Ugh," and is struck, turning his attention from Vadim to the far northern end of this pavilion.
Quick question.
Yes.
Can Ao drop her wand as a free action so she has
Yes.
2 hands free? Great.
Absolutely.
She does that quietly.
This wand softly falls to the ground as this man in front of Vadim starts sort of panting and throws his arms back as teeth burst out of the front of his face and fur envelops his entire body, and he grows these long, filthy claws as he turns into a werewolf and opens his mouth and plunges it forward towards Vadim. With a 27 to hit.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So you feel these teeth sink into you for 10 points of damage, and I need you to make
Wait.
a fortitude save, please.
If Vadim becomes a werewolf, I'm going to be so hyped.
Same.
Vadim won't be.
What if Ao becomes
No,
a
no.
werewolf, guys? I'm running in. I want it.
A Kitsune werewolf?
You might finally get that bite attack.
Character
That's
needs some
true.
complexity and depth.
That's
Yeah.
extremely true.
Oh no! That is a critical failure. 2 ones on the dice tonight.
Oh my
2
God.
ones
You do have that
already.
hero point card, though.
I hero point that.
Wait. Oh.
I'm going to use a hero point card on this one. So the card I'm using is from Cooper from Salem, Oregon, and it's called Whoops. The trigger is you fail or critically fail a saving throw, and the description is as thus. Your backpack rips and spills its contents, causing you to not hear a magical command. You get caught in your cape, and it causes you to fall back from the deadly trap. It's embarrassing, but it's for the best. Increase the degree of success to critical success. In combat, gain the enfeebled, clumsy, or stupefied 1 condition until the end of your turn. Out of combat, determine an equally annoying but not detrimental effect that befalls the character. So
Armat, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that I pick that condition, or do you think that you pick that condition? Because I think that I pick it.
I think you pick it. I have to
Okay.
admit. Yeah.
I love it.
Can I do the description, though, of how...
Oh, absolutely. Please,
hell
please.
yeah. I love it.
I feel like it says befalls you. I feel like it would be Armat who picks it, but
Nah.
Well, but
no.
it befalls him, right? Someone else is doing the befall.
oh, okay.
I want Lars to pick the most detrimental things for me, is what I'm hoping, basically.
Okay, so what happens?
So, Vadim slips in his own blood from his previous critical failure,
Oh, right.
which just barely manages to tear him out of Mesmin's bite enough such that whatever saliva, whatever effect would be attacking his system is prevented from harming him in this instance.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely giving you the clumsy condition. There's no question.
I hate it. I love it.
An incredibly
Happy
easier choice.
birthday.
Never before have I had. So Vadim runs forward, slips, cuts himself, stabs this guy, gets bit, slips again, and somehow manages to avoid becoming a werewolf through all of that. And is now clumsy until the beginning of his next turn. Is that the story? Until the end of his next turn.
Thank you, Cooper.
Thanks, Cooper.
I love it. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Cooper. Cooper from Salem, Oregon. A great hero point card. Round of
Awesome.
applause.
Yeah. Woo, that's a great card.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
And as Vadim gets knocked into a difficult situation, this claw reaches out as the werewolf tries to slash at Vadim next. That's a 21 to hit.
That will not hit. So in my mind, it just like scrapes across his armor, but can't actually connect because it is just barely away from connecting.
From the other side of the pavilion, Mag sees that Vadim is having a little bit of trouble. And Mag is starting off raging because she raged in this approach.
Yes.
What is she going to do?
She was initially thinking she might engage the wolf, but having seen what Jal here has done to Vadim, she's going to go tangle with him. So she'll move down. There's no way to flank, unfortunately, but she will take up a position next to Jal as well.
He turns towards you and growls as you see his teeth bared as this wolfman's lips curl around these enormous incisors.
And Mag growls back, and I think I'll go ahead and make that part of the turn. She'll try an intimidation check first before the strike. Wouldn't have thought of it necessarily, but now that our teeth are all bared and everything, and that is a 20 on the die.
So he goes "Arr!" as he jolts back, terrified for a brief moment by Mag, and he is now frightened too with that critical success.
Woo!
Enormous move from Mag.
Let's hit him with a sword. And that's a 31 to hit.
That'll hit.
That will hit, but not crit. This is a beefy fella. So that'll be 27 damage on the sword strike.
27 damage.
Yeah, so
on the
I
sword
imagine
strike.
that when Mag bares her teeth back and he kind of cowers back, that something about the way he cowers opens up his body and exposes a vulnerability that that Haplo the Bastard Sword can then take advantage of.
And as Mag cuts into this wolfman, he ushers a quick "Hur!" bark to the wolf, which scampers around to the far side of Mag, just galloping across this pavilion, jumping, twisting to the side, and lashing out at Mag with its jaws quickly. That's a 17 to hit.
Not going to do it. So I think Mag's body is still contorted from that successful sword strike, and so the jaws fall just shy of her left arm.
Yeah, so the wolf snaps at the air and then snaps a second time, lunging a little bit further forward this time. That is a 12 to hit. That's obviously not going to do it. Here we are. It's the top of round 2, and the campfire at the center of this pavilion is surrounded by Trill, the wolf, Mag, this man who is now a werewolf, and Vadim. The smoldering embers of this campfire casting a golden light on all 5 of you. Ao is a short distance away on the walkway, and as Trill looks back over her shoulder and sees the lake waiting 10 feet down behind her, it is now her turn.
You really love talking about that lake.
I love talking about a lot of things.
Trill is going to cast Daze. I don't think I've used Daze yet, have I?
I don't think that it is known that you have Daze. I think this is a reveal of Daze.
Is this a reveal? Oh,
I think it's a reveal.
funsies.
Aw,
Yes.
snap.
Quite funsies.
So Trill retrained one of her cantrips. Trill got rid of TKP. I no longer have
Yeah.
TKP. And instead, Trill
So
took
which one of these two do you think
Daze.
has the weaker will to target with Daze?
That's a great question.
The wolf?
I was thinking the wolf, actually. I was. So Trill's going to target the wolf. So Trill strums some very complicated notes on her lute. For all of this is I may be dating some of us, but did y'all have Winamp when you were in high school?
Yeah, that program really whipped a llama's ass. Of course I had that.
Beat me to it.
it. You remember the old Winamp visualizer?
Of course.
And that was like one of
yeah.
the best things about it. And you'd get those like
Arguably the number one.
right? It was the best thing
thing
about it. And you'd get those like really funky psychedelic visualizations.
Totally.
Yes.
I feel like when Trill strums the strings for Daze, it's like that visualization comes to life out of her lute and makes its way towards her target.
So you see the wolf's eyes open wide and their pupils dilate violently as they make this will save. And there you go. That's how you target the wolf. That's an 11 on the will save.
And it had to beat a 21, so it did not.
Not only did it not, it critically failed,
Yes.
which means that it is stunned. And let's talk about stunned for a second because it's
Bop, bop, doo-wop.
it's one of the best conditions. So basically, this wolf is now stunned 1, which means that at the beginning of its turn, it is going to only get 2 actions. It's going to get 1 fewer actions.
Oh, wow.
In the meantime, it is unable to act, which means that if it had reactions or anything like that, those are not going to happen because the wolf is now just transfixed, like turns its head sideways and is just locked in place by this spell. And you're also going to do some damage, I
And
believe.
yeah, it got 7 points of mental damage
Got it.
on top of all that.
Awesome.
Huge. That is as good as that gets.
That was,
Targeting animals with daze is the correct move.
That was real
I'll give you a
fun.
hero point for that. People spend a lot of time talking about how daze is not a good spell. And I think that there's something to that. But in certain situations like this one, it's phenomenal.
That was awesome.
Trill's got one more action.
Trill is, with her last action, then going to prepare to aid Vadim, because Vadim needs some help, it looks like. So Trill, with her loot, will give a performance aid on his next attack.
Sounds good. It is now, coincidentally, Vadim's turn, and Vadim is not feeling good. Vadim feels like it's hard to draw breath because he's drained 3. He's having trouble keeping balance because he is clumsy, and there is a stream of blood coming from his thigh from the persistent damage. What is Vadim going to do as Trill sets up to assist him?
So I think the first thing he's going to do as his turn starts, he's just going to shake his head, try and clear his head, and go, ugh, Pharasma's bloody bones! And then he will step diagonally to the south so that he's flanking Jal with Mag, and then undeterred, sort of favoring his weak leg, will still launch into a brutal double slice. And let's see how that turns out.
And Trill's performance check is a 31 to aid.
That's a critical
Amazing.
success, meaning that the strike with vigilance is going to get a +2.
Amazing. So that is a 28 to hit with vigilance, and
+2 is 30.
and a 23 plus 2 is 25 with the dagger.
So the dagger doesn't get the +2. It's just the first strike that gets the +2 from
got it.
Trill. However, because you are flanking Jal Mesmin, because Mag scared this werewolf, we don't know that he's Jal Mesmin, I didn't say that. Because Mag scared the hell out of this werewolf in front of you, and because Trill inspired you with first her magic to her aid, all of those things narrowly add up to that roll that you just put out there being a critical hit on Jal Mesmin, on the werewolf.
Ow, ow, ow.
Amazing.
On this unknown
And then
werewolf.
also the dagger hits also.
All right. So that is 38 points of damage.
Doesn't the dagger venom do something else in addition to the damage?
On critical.
Only on critical, okay.
But vigilance has a critical specialization effect as well, correct?
Correct. Meaning that this critical hit, because it's a sword, is going to make this man flat-footed.
Awesome.
And as these two strikes from Vadim connect, the man shudders for a second and just spits out, "Oh, okay. Okay, I give up. I give up, please. I surrender." And he motions towards the wolf, asking the wolf to back down.
The wolf can't do anything because it's stunned.
The wolf is like, "Arr."
The wolf is my pet. I shall ride him into battle.
I was thinking it was like the Wizard of Oz thing, like the like that's just like happening in the wolf's mind the entire time.
Trill gets in the wolf's back.
And rides away.
Into the sunset.
But this man is looking towards you and surrendering. What do you guys want to do as we pause this encounter for a moment?
I say we talk to him.
Yeah, Ao wants to talk to him for sure.
Mag would want to make sure he's good and subdued.
Okay, so how does Mag do that?
I think Mag would sheath Haplo and like pin him to the ground.
So he grunts for a moment, like, "Urgh," like he doesn't want, like it's paining him to give up. But he consents and lets Mag hold him forcefully down to the ground. At this moment, the wolf is no longer stunned, and the wolf lies down, its front paws out in front of itself, and sits there, ears forward, alert, but not acting aggressively, as it has followed its master's order.
Trill gets on top of the wolf.
Ao walks over and smells his butt.
Great. Good stuff. Really good. Great. It smells great. This is good.
Oh my God, Lars didn't prep a butt smell.
That's a society check. I mean, if there's ever been a society check.
Yeah, give me a society check as you sniff at this wolf.
Okay, you got it. That's a 25.
So what do you want to know about this wolf?
Like, she's fascinated by Jal. I think for a while in her mind, maybe it was like the stories had been wrong. There was a wolf and a man, and human beings who don't understand had confused that as one person who could change. But now she realizes Jal can change because she's seen him attack. And so, like, what is the wolf's role in this? If there's this wolf man, like, she's just fascinated by the changing, right? Like, she herself can change.
Yeah. I think that the first thing that hits Ao as she starts sniffing at this wolf is that there's no way that this wolf is 30 years old. This wolf is probably 3 or 4 years old. And as such,
It was a young smelling butt.
yeah, like this is a young, healthy wolf. This is not an ancient wolf that would have been present for that. So you know that this wolf had nothing to do with whatever may have happened in the past.
Which I think makes her quickly less interested in the wolf and fascinated by Jawl.
So Jawl is now on his knees, and he sort of looks at you ruefully as his snout condenses back into his face. His hair retracts back into his skin, and you're again just looking at this man who looks like he's around 50 years old with filthy black hair, with a sort of confused look in his eye. And he says, who are you? Why are you here?
And Ao locks eyes with him, which I feel like is a real alpha dog move, breaking eye contact. She locks eyes with him, and as she's doing that, she turns back into Norman. She's trying to find a camaraderie with this guy, right? Which I think is not the same. I think who he is and who she is are I, Zoe, think that, but I think she doesn't get that, right? She's like, oh, this is a person who changes. Cool.
He looks at you. I think he's trying to figure out what you are. Him looking at Ao, turning into Norman. He's been beat very badly. He seems like he doesn't seem with it, given how hungry he seems to be. His cheeks are sunken in. So he's looking at Ao, trying to get us, or at Norman now, trying to get a sense of what is going on. He fails, and he says, "You're like me, but you're not like me. I don't understand."
I'm not like anyone, but we just want to talk, man. And Norman opens up his arms in a way too friendly way, given the encounter.
Okay, do you want to try to make an impression on him to make him like you more? Is that kind of what you're trying to do?
I think that's always been the goal.
Sure. Let's get a diplomacy check from Norman.
29.
Yeah, so after this sort of back and forth of, a minute or so of talking to him, he relaxes a little bit and doesn't seem hostile to you. He just seems now unfriendly.
How'd you get down here? I mean, you seem hungry. Could we offer you a bite? And Norman sort of looks pointedly at Mag. Give him some of that berry jerky.
Mag cautiously reaches into one of the pouches at her belt and grabs a piece of jerky and offers it forward.
He greedily reaches forward and tries to bite at the food that you're offering to you, manages to grab a little bit of it, and then looks at you and says, "You got any for the wolf?"
And Mag does.
The wolf turns its head sideways and goes "Arr."
Oh, he's a good boy.
Mag reaches again, cautiously but purposefully, into the same pouch, gets out another piece and tosses it to where it lands between the wolf's outstretched paws.
And the wolf sniffs at the food and then starts eating it cautiously.
Trill pats between the wolf's ears.
On account of how she's sitting on its back, riding
Yeah, exactly. She reaches forward and pats it.
How long you been down here, man? Norman ventures.
I guess I've been down here for probably 20, 30 years at this point. But who are you? Why are you here? I'll answer your questions, but you ain't answered my questions yet.
Trill pipes up.
He says, Whirlywind sent us. The druids.
I don't know who that is. The druids. Yeah, I remember a lifetime ago I stayed with those druids. They didn't know what they had on their hands, I guess. But I don't know anybody by the name of Whirlywind.
She wasn't the only one who sent us down here. Keelan Lathanar also sends his regards. Do you remember that name?
Can you give me a perception check, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think, like, while this is happening, Norman's eyes have kind of wide. Like, this has gone. He didn't want to get this personal this fast, so I think he's kind of trying to, like, read the dog signals between Jal and the wolf.
So I'll give you some. I'll tell you something about that. First, I want to get a sense of Vadim's perception check.
21.
Okay. As you say the name Lathanar, you see him kind of move to grab something at his side.
I think then Vadim will lower vigilance, maybe sheathe the offhand dagger, and then start patting Jal down in that area. Try and see if he can find what he was looking for.
So as Vadim is patting this man down, Norman is sizing up this relationship between this man and this wolf. Give me a nature check or a society check.
20 society.
So this society check that Norman did feels to me like it's about Norman reaching into his understanding of like human culture.
Right,
like the things that he's seen while he's been around Otari. And this wolf looks to him like it's just like any other domesticated animal. There's no special link. It's just that this man tamed this wolf.
Norman mumbles to Trill. Okay, Trill, you can write it.
And as Norman mutters that, Vadim happens upon something hard tucked into a pocket on this man's coat.
Can he reach in and draw it out?
Yes. Vadim reaches in, draws out this hard thing, which he grabs a hold of something hard and then pulls it out, and a chain starts dragging behind it as Vadim lifts this thing out of this guy's pocket. And he notices that it's a necklace, a medallion with a bunch of jewels on it. And there's an engraved silver image of a porpoise on it. And on the opposite side of the medallion, he sees an inscription that says, Isla, my beloved. Isla, of course, being the name of Keelano Lathanar's wife.
So this is like a totem of...
I'm getting love triangle vibes.
Yeah.
Did you kill her and take this as a trophy? Vadim asks. I don't know that that's where his mind goes immediately.
He looks frightened now, and he shakes his head and he says, if you spare me, you got that necklace. That's probably got to be worth something. Come on, you can let me go, can't you? You've already got what you're looking for. You're trying to shake me down and mug me. You got it. Let me go.
Let you go where? You can't stay down here, man. This place sucks.
I'll get out. Look, I'll get out of here. I'll leave. You won't hear anything.
I think we can help you. I mean, let's get you out of here and figure some stuff out.
We can't let him free, Norman. I don't think we can do that. I think he's responsible, we believe, for the deaths of several people, and he must stand to justice for that.
Yeah, Trill stopped scratching behind the ears of the wolf that she's sitting on and is sitting more upright and looking at Norman like,
Norman, what are you going on about?
and she points at Jal and says,
Did you kill Isla and all those people that day 30 years ago or not?
Come on, that was a lifetime ago. You're gonna... That man that did that has been replaced by a man that has spent 30 years down in this cave eating bugs and whatever else he can get his hands on, and that's not me anymore. Come on.
But people are still hurting, and the druids are blamed for it.
Well, and he grins at you and he says, well, come on. The druids were kind of asking for it if they couldn't see what was happening right in front of their faces.
What?
Trill's eyebrows get knocked together very angrily.
And it took you about 7 seconds to realize what was going on with me. It took... Those druids weren't able to see what was happening for 10 months before it happened. I'm just saying, can you really blame me for their inability to take care of their own?
Yes, absolutely we can blame you. If you really have changed down here, if you really are a different man, you have to demonstrate that.
Absolutely, you're right.
You have to come up and answer for whatever your previous self may have done.
No, come on. You can just let me go. You don't have to do that. You can just let me go, and me and the wolf, we'll be gone. You'll never hear from us again.
Well,
I don't have to do anything. You don't have to make me do anything.
I mean, the wolf can go, sure. But you... I don't think that's true, friend.
I think through all of this, like, Norman sort of had a plan and then got interrupted. So he's still sort of magnanimously standing there, but his smile has become like harder and harder and more artificial. Like it hasn't actually disappeared anywhere. He sort of like mumbles to himself like, "Nang nang bonobo," which is like, Jesus Christ, if everyone would have just relaxed for a hot fucking second, I could have maybe gotten this guy out peacefully and then we could have figured out what to do with him. But so you know, the smile has left his eyes and is still on his face, and he's like, "Well, I mean, you're a man of honor. You follow the pack, right?"
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely. Absolutely, I've learned so much.
Don't you remember your pack?
Wouldn't say that I've ever really had a pack. I've just had a wolf. From time to time, I've needed to get new ones, but I wouldn't say that I've had a pack. It's usually just been me and one of them.
Why one of them?
Because they're dumb animals, and they just do whatever you tell them to.
I feel like all of this is like Norman was sort of hoping to find a kindred spirit, and it's just becoming more and more clear this guy is not that. And like none of this is like, I think he thought this was going to resonate, or like even if it was dark or shitty, it would like strike a chord, and it's just all kind of falling flat, to continue a musical metaphor.
Yeah, and so this guy, I think that makes sense. This guy is disappointing you. That
right. He
I
has
totally
neither
get what
like
you're
a
saying.
clever, nefarious scheme nor a like true code of honor, which I think is. So I think Norman tries to lock eyes with Vadim, and he's like, "Well, I think we should get you back to the pack. I mean, any wolf knows that pack judgment has to prevail." And like he sort of like, I feel like he uses his elbow to gesture to Vadim, or like Mag, if he can get dry, like get ready to grab this guy if he's gonna try and sort of make a, you know, not a run for it to hurt us because he surrendered, but like try and get away and not be held accountable. Like he's now decided this guy needs to be accountable. I mean, you'll come with us, right? You can't be down here not talking to your pack.
So there are two things to consider here. He says, "No, I'm not going to come with you." But you look at him physically; he has no way of fighting back. Like he's unable. He's bargaining with you. He has nothing.
You say you've been down here 30 years. You can't have been alone the whole time, nor just you and your animal companions. What have you seen down here?
Well, I got a couple things I can... this is good. I'm glad that we're negotiating, trying to figure out something, some kind of common agreement. This is good. This makes sense. I'm going to tell you something, and then maybe you can, you can let me go, perhaps.
Let's start with telling me something.
Oh, of course. Well, and he motions his head to the south. He says, "There's an island down there that's got some kind of a shadowy ghost living there. You should probably steer clear of that."
Otari, Norman mumbles to himself.
That's right, the town of Otari. That's where I used to live.
Mm-hmm.
And he motions to the north, and he says, "Tell you what, There's those stairs there to the north. It's probably best if you don't go anywhere near them. They're impossible. They're a nightmare. There's something in there that is... You think I'm bad. The thing up there is a lot worse than me. Once you start climbing those stairs or going down those stairs, you're gonna go forever and ever and ever.
Have you seen anything come up from there, from down below?
No, you don't understand. There is no down below. They just keep going.
So there's some kind of enchantment on the stairs, it would seem.
And as we've made our way through from place to place down here, we see signs everywhere of worship of a particular dark god.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that.
Okay. Sorcerer lady? You seen any sorcerer lady type stuff anywhere?
I'm pretty sure I would remember if I saw a sorcerer lady.
Dang. Okay.
Mostly I've just seen bugs, little rodents, whatever I can get my teeth on.
Any interesting tools lying around anywhere?
Relics, that kind of thing?
You're wondering if I can point you towards some loot or something? If that's what you're asking me?
Yeah, or, maybe particular
Trolls.
historical significance.
Yes.
Well, I am a historian. You've heard me completely right. I'm a noted theologian and historian.
Scholar.
I think I read your work in undergrad.
Oh, yes. Passages of the Wolf.
I'd be surprised if you understood it. But yeah, he shares these two stories about this shadowy ghost and these odd stairs. And he says, well, that's pretty good. So it seems like maybe it's time for you to let old Jawl go, huh?
I feel like if Mag weren't quite such a cautious and level-headed person, she'd just shrug and kill him. This is so annoying.
Trill keeps trying to starts to try and motion to Mag to gently trying to do it without being noticed, kind of a quick motion with her fist to hit him on the back of the head or something to knock him out.
I was gonna see if I had any kind of potion for that, but I don't think we should give him bark skin. So I guess.
And I think while they're talking, Norman just slams a rock into the back of his head to knock him out. Norman's just tired of this.
Yeah, so he's let old Jawl go, and
yeah, and he
thump
just goes
back
down.
of his head. Norman rock. He collapses.
And Norman locks eyes with the wolf and is not roughly growls at it, but sort of we're in control now. You come with us.
Trill keeps scratching the back of the wolf's ears.
So the wolf starts moving now that Jawl is not up. He just wants to get away. The wolf just wants to escape at this point. But you can tell me what you want to do with the wolf.
Well,
Yeah,
Trill
Trill's
kind
gonna
of
ride it out of the dungeon.
Yeah, Trill grabs the wolf by the scruff.
And,
Okay.
and maybe Mag will take out a rope and quickly sort of tie a quick lasso type
leash?
knot to form a kind of makeshift leash for the thing.
Got it.
Yay! Motherfuckers!
If we are going to release the wolf, let's make sure we do it far outside of town. It is a predator and could prey on local animals.
Yeah, let's just get it into the woods. It's not who we're worried about.
So it takes a couple of minutes for Mag to tie up the now unconscious Jawl Mesman's arms. Are you right now going to try to do more exploration within this area, or are you heading back to town?
I think we gotta head back to town with these guys.
I think
Yeah.
a quick scan of the platform, they're not gonna I
Sure.
feel like
Yeah.
Norman's doing a very quick, is there anything here, but not further dungeon explore.
We could try sending the wolf down the forever stairs. Just kind of see what
God.
happens?
No, Norman wouldn't allow that.
All right.
Oh,
He
yeah.
found his moral code.
And Trill in this room also wants to just, even though there's nothing up here, sense magic or detect magic, see if there's anything in the water or anything around that we're missing that we don't see.
So you do detect magic. It seems as though there is a weapon on Jawl's body. You search over him and you find this very in bad condition, sort of encrusted with grime weapon that looks like if it were to get cleaned up would be quite nice looking. It's a katar, which is a dagger that you hold onto and punch forward with it. It's what's called a punching dagger.
Oh.
And this seems to be enchanted with pretty typical magic. It's a +1 striking katar that at the very least is worth some money.
Great.
It's an Indian weapon, I believe.
And Trill actually finds 2 of those.
Oh.
Cool.
Maybe Mag will take the other one.
So as Mag slips this dagger, one of these daggers into her pouch, and Trill takes the other one, it sounds as though you are on your way out, guiding this wolf and dragging yet another body with you on the way out.
We knew it had to happen.
Norman leads the way out the hallway they didn't come in to the east, trying to find a quick way back up out of the dungeon.
That door opens up and leads you up a flight of stairs into that restricted library on the 3rd floor of
Oh,
the dungeon.
all right.
Wait, like Augriel's room?
Yeah. Augriel set up in the room with a pillar of blue light. Notices you as you walk by. He's sort of touching his hands into the blue light, watching how it repairs his skin. He waves at you as you walk by and says,
"Oh, it looks like you've found something important. Or somebody important, I mean."
Nobody as important as you, buddy. You want to come with us into town and see something fun? We're going to bring justice to the people of Otari.
"No, I like it here."
as he waves goodbye to you.
Norman briefly stares into the blue light. It's like, yeah, I get it.
And you continue your way up through the various floors of this area. And it's at this moment on the way out that Mag starts feeling a little bit sick. Can I please have a fortitude save from Mag as the memory of Otari's ghost leaping into her shadow fills her mind and she starts being potentially overcome with fever.
It's a 26 save, which I have a feeling might be pretty good news.
Yeah, Mag feels ill for a moment and then feels fine.
Throws up a little bit in her mouth, but no more.
There's a significant but tiny throw up in her mouth that she brushes aside.
She maybe have something from her pouch.
Oh,
That
yeah,
helps.
an herb.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Mag gets out a dried leaf and crushes it between her palms, and then puts a plug of it into her mouth and chews on it.
And as you do that, it strikes you as a potentially a great lunch because it's right around noon. The sun is looming high above you. And on your walk back to town, you consider the things that you have accomplished today. You saved the ghost of the ancient rogue Otari Ilvashti from being tormented by wisps. You attempted to exorcise Otari's ghost, which would have completed Vadim's holy quest from Pharasma, but you failed because of a memory of how Otari's supposed friend Zermavdian unleashed the fireball that killed him. You watched Otari's ghost get pulled deeper underground by 7 translucent black tentacles. You explored a wide hallway filled with the remains of Belcora Harovex's fallen enemies. You entered an enormous shrine to the outer god and predator of the undead Nimbaloth and fought off the strange creatures guarding it. You discovered the means by which 4 iconic possessions of the Rose Guard could convince a wall of vengeful spirits angry at Belcora to dissipate and to let you pass. And you confronted and apprehended the criminal Jal Mesmin, a werewolf who visited a killing spree upon the town of Otari a generation ago, the wounds of which have still not yet healed. But you have not yet been able to locate the spot on the 4th floor below Gauntlight through which the eerie blue light flows. And as you look back on the lighthouse as you are walking towards town, you see this blue energy flare up aggressively. You see a surge of energy, surge of energy, surge of energy. And you are confident that if you do not do something soon, the light of Gauntlet will shine once more upon the town of Otari, visiting unknowable consequences upon the town. And we will pick up from there next time.
Haplo's gonna come back again. Fuck.
The Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy. The Roots of Ruin uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's Community Use Policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way. Original characters and content are the property of Tabletop Gold. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Email us at letters@tabletopgold.com and find all our social links at tabletopgold.com.